Hello, everyone, and thank you for having me. My name is Dr. Don, and I am currently teaching at Oman Tourism College. Today, I will talk about teaching pedagogies in the new normal. In order to understand this topic, I would like to direct your attention to the definition of pedagogy, and I highlighted there as it is the method and the practice of teaching. According to Oxford Online Dictionary 2021, pedagogies in the new normal is that it is based on what the teacher is doing currently at the time of the pandemic. And I'd like to also relate this to what the teachers were doing or which pedagogies the teachers were doing before the pandemic. Before COVID-19 pandemic, the way we learn and the way we are taught are based on pedagogies which have been proven effective. However, some of those pedagogies require physical interaction or face-to-face, or at least inside the classroom in front of a teacher and surrounded by other students. For example, collaboration or a collaborative work wherein the teacher and students work together to produce an output. And by doing this, both groups learn together. Another example is mentoring between teacher and students, between the students themselves, and between teachers and colleagues. And another example is experiential pedagogies. This is the type of pedagogy which, in short, uses real life experience. This simply means learning by doing. This requires practical experience of learning that involves psychomotor skills or manipulation. There are these are only some of the many other examples of pedagogies that are seldom utilized because of health safety protocol of social distancing. Because when we do all of this, they require physical interaction. Then after we shut down and when we resume classes due to pandemic, those pedagogies which we barely heard before suddenly gained popularity. They become part of the new normal because of limiting physical contact or having none at all. So I've chosen only four of these common new pedagogies in the new normal based on our exposure and familiarity. The first one is blended learning, followed by online learning, modular approach, and the last is gamification. Blended learning is a combination of either in classroom or away from the classroom modes of delivery. For instance, blended learning could be a combination of face-to-face and online learning or in-person or distance learning. You see, they are named differently but all mean the same thing. Next is online learning. Most of us are engaging in online learning in some way. The most common of all are downloading and uploading work on the website, online research, and perhaps completing tasks through our gadgets. I assume that 100% of college students and teachers nowadays are using at least a smartphone while others own a laptop or tablet. The most important of all is not the gadget, but the internet. Would you agree with me? Our gadget would be irrelevant if the Wi-Fi signal is slow or we don't have budget for internet data. Invest in IT tools and resources. Use those budget which are supposed meant to be for transportation expenses, allowance, boarding house, etc. Some students are lucky because there are institutions who are giving away tablets and laptop computers. Next is the modular approach. Like online learning, we also didn't utilize this pedagogical approach before. However, because of the pandemic, it seems that this pedagogy of learning and teaching will stay with us for some time. The Philippines, being an archipelago, perfectly fits under this modular mode of learning. Factors being considered include the lack of access to the internet, the absence of IT resources, and low level of IT skills. So all the efforts put in by teachers are admirable. First, preparing the modules is already hard, and producing is even harder. Of course, delivering and retrieving later are another stories. Then comes the marking or checking of those modules. In other words, heist ang kawawang guro, the hapless teacher. Having said that, kudos to every single Filipino teacher in this time of unprecedented crisis of COVID-19. So I choose the pictures here, which I got from um, the website, from online, and I'm sure most of you can relate to this. So which one are you? What is your style in dealing with modular approach? Before the advent of the pandemic, life was already stressful. Work is never ending. So we should learn how to spice up things a little bit. You know, when you burden when you are burdened with so many workloads, you tend to lose motivation and this affects your productivity. Some creative minds develop a way to lighten up and to regain our motivation. They call this idea gamification. The term means adding game elements to non game settings. Its primary goal is to motivate people to do or to try to do something because there is a fun element. Gamification helps people to achieve their goal, to learn in order to enhance their skills, to become competitive, and to be an achiever. All these are possible only if we have the motivation or the personal drive, especially in this time of global crisis, wherein the pandemic is taking a toll on everyone's mental health. Gamification is gaming, but not the kind of game that you know, or the mobile legend. The video that you're about to see are common scenarios of how people are motivated to do things which they tend to ignore before. See how gamification captures their attention towards shopping for fun, taking the stairs instead of the escalator, and it's a healthy thing to do, dumping your trash in the right place, and many others. Please watch this video. So those situations or scenarios are telling us that there are a lot of ways in order to catch the attention of people to do things which they ignore. They tend to ignore, like putting the trash in the right place, increasing sales of a pizza company, and attracting people to go shopping in that particular hypermarket because there is fun way to do shopping, which they offer a skateboard to roam around with a push cart. So all of these are gamification. That means could be in every scenario. It just requires some creative ways to do that, and not only in those situations where we can apply gamification, it can also be applied to ourselves individually, and we call it um, self gamification. The power of play is gamified in situations wherein um, we can see how the basic scenarios at home can be turned into a fun activity. In other words, turn your life into fun, especially in this moment of pandemic. One of those examples that I suggest to add self or to gamify your self is dressing according to the occasion. When you know that you have a class today, either online or modular, get dressed like you're going to a class for real. You will never attend a class in your pajamas, will you? Of course not. Preparing yourself by dressing up sets your mind to the task and makes you feel engaging. Another example is like finding a place where you feel more at peace or more relaxed. It doesn't matter where, as long as you are comfortable working there. Because by nature, animals are territorial, that including humans. So mark that spot at home and claim that spot as if that it is your working territory. Are you missing deadlines lately? You won't anymore if you keep a daily plan. Nowadays, it's as easy as one, two, three if you have a smartphone. Your device has a calendar in it which functions similar to the daily routine organizer. Schedules of meetings and classes can be synchronized in that calendar. You can even set a notification depending on your desired timing, say 15 minutes before the deadline to as long as a day or a week or a month. Saying, this is one very common thing that happens to us every day. Distractions are common, but learn how to say no to them. Only you can avoid, or only you can avoid by sticking to your priorities. Family and friends can be your support system, but they too can be distractors to your focus. Adding to that are social media. You should know when the best time to turn them off temporarily while staying focused on your work. After all, it's only you who is going to face the music if you miss the deadline. There are so many and there's so many uncertainties nowadays that we don't know where and who to turn to, right? Whenever you are in doubt of things, ask for help. There's nothing wrong with that, okay? But don't get used to it by being too dependent. And you start to procrastinate when you know that somebody is always there ready to help you. This is not a good self discipline. And the right people and the right help should come from your teachers and your classmates, not from somewhere else. So don't be afraid or don't be shy. Ask for help, especially when you are in doubt. There are so many uncertainties in our midst that nobody can predict the future after COVID 19. So, why worry about them now when we have so much work to deliver at the moment? Let's cross the bridge when we get there. For now, make the most of every opportunity presented before us and stay focused. I would like to end my talk with this video by UNESCO. It gives us an idea on the future of education post COVID 19 because of our experiences today that we learn what we learn from today. We're able to predict the future and we're able to prepare some coping mechanisms. I hope that you learned something from my presentation. And before I say goodbye, let's watch this video. That concludes my talk today. And once again, thank you very much for having me. Thank you very much for the invitation, Iori. And I hope everybody, and I wish everybody well. Please enjoy the rest of the conference. Thank you very much. Bye for me now from Oman Tourism College.